Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor. Today we're going to talk about some tips and tricks that you can do on eBay to help you improve your efficiency or even help increase sales. So let's hop over to the screen now and show you some inside stuff on eBay. So here we are. Here's something I wanted to address after talking to many people and looking at stores trying to help some folks out. Many people are missing something here on their listings when they set up some of this. Now, I'm in a listing here. It's just a listing that I have up. It's for a luggage label. My description condition, you can see the item here. Again, this doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the item is. What matters is some of the ideas and things you do with it here. Now, one thing that I see a lot of people do are the automatic decline offers. Lower than. Now, you can set it up. I always do everything as a buy it now option, a bin, B-I-N, and I put B-O, which is best offer, this option right here. Now, if you click this one here, it'll allow people to offer you amount different than what you have it set up as. So you have it set up as a buy it now for $75. Without this option here, they can't offer you anything less than that. They either buy it for $75 or they don't buy it at all. That is a bin, buy it now. So if you use this option, which I use best offer for every single listing I have up, I do believe, you can click one of these two options. Automatically accept offers of at least. So if you want to fix it so it automatically takes offers over a certain amount, it will do that for you. Now, I don't personally do that for many reasons. But one other aspect that many other people do is they'll automatically decline offers lower than a certain amount. You may list this today for $75, this label. You may not want to take less than 60, which, maybe at the time you listed it, you've done your comps, and that 60 is a fair market value of what the thing should sell for, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. So if you set it at 60 and somebody offers you $58 on it, or $59, it's not going to sell. And you won't know that it will decline them because it automatically does that. You would have to go in and look at each listing to see if anything was declined. If you got a lot of listings like me, that's just not possible. I don't know any way to do it. I've called eBay before. They couldn't tell me any way to actually look at all of them across the board. But I don't put this option in there in the first place, so it wouldn't do me much good. The reason I would never put a automatically decline offers because you could be turning down a ton of offers and selling a heck of a lot more, but because of that auto decline, it hits that number and it instantly turns them down. So I don't use that at all. I would always look at whatever offer they are giving you, even if it's a low ball offer, and counter back at something. Many times on a $75 item, I may get a $10 offer on it. I'll counter back at $60. They may counter back at $50, and it's sold. It just depends. So I look at every single one. Now, if you're auto declining offers, you could be declining offers that normally you would take, but you set it strictly. Another aspect of this is, let's say you did comps at the time, you listed at 75, you figure it should sell for 60. 10 more showed up on the market since then. It's been up for 4 months. You don't know this, so you still think $60 is a good price. When an offer comes in at any given point on a certain item, and I don't know what they're currently running at, I always look them up before I take that offer. Now, you wouldn't know that if you left it at 60 and did an auto decline on something. I would never recommend auto decline in anything, personally. Even if they send me a $1 offer on the $75 item, I'm still going to counter back at 60. Sometimes it gets things going. Sometimes someone forgot to put a 0 or something in the offer. So it may not have been an intentional dollar offer to you. It may have been a $10 offer or a $100 offer, depending on the value of your item. So I never, ever look at that from a point that, hey, they're just trying to be a jerk and give me a $1 offer. I always give it a chance and see what could happen with it. Now, that's about it with this. I would just not recommend doing it personally. Auto accept is fine. Let's say somebody puts in a $60 offer. You put auto accept on here by clicking here and then typing in $60 over here. If it hits $60 or more, eBay's going to accept it for you. You don't have to do anything. I wouldn't say there's any problem whatsoever with doing that. I personally don't do it because I like to see every offer that comes in. Even if you do the automatic accept, if they have any conditions or anything like that, like, hey, give me free shipping if you'll take this offer, you're still going to have to approve it. If it's under that amount, you'll have to see it anyway. So there's no big crime or loss if you do the automatically accept. But with the decline, you don't know how much you're missing. You can't really counter back at all because you don't know what's happening. It's already been declined. So, and let's just show you while we're on this page one more aspect Now, I don't do promoted listings at all anymore. My sales have not suffered any way at all. My sales are actually up more than they were last year at this same given time. So no promoted listings for me. Now, what they did offer is volume pricing. I sell a lot of items to the same person, multiples. Maybe not on the same day, but over a long time frame here. Now you can offer a discount when a buyer purchases more than one item. This is something that you can use. eBay added this in very recently. This is a tool that will help you make some more sales. It just depends on what you're selling. If you're selling clothing of all different sizes, chances are you're not going to sell two items to the same person unless they're buying for different members of their family. So look at it that way. If you're selling collectibles, vintage stuff, or even video games or something along that line, you have a higher chance on selling more items to the same person. This is a good chance to upsell it. 5% is not a huge ordeal. Do 5% if they buy 2 or more items. Now you can add more items in here as well. You can raise, like if they buy 3 to 8% off each item, or if they buy 4, another certain amount off. But this will help you increase sales, hopefully, at least if you sell in categories like we do. So when they go to checkout, it's going to tell them that, hey, if you buy another item, you get 5% off both items, or 10% off both items. You can do this in conjunction with running a sale through markdowns and sales promotions that you don't have to pay eBay for. Again, that's not a promoted listing. A promoted listing is when you pay eBay a specific percentage now. So there's a big difference between the two. Let's move on to a couple other topics here. Now, this is account settings here. So how do you get here? And I'm not going to click up here because it lists some personal information, but right above eBay, wherever you're at on an eBay page, it'll say hi with your name on it, your store name on it. Now, if you click up there, it's going to take you to account settings, a button that says that. And then here you are on the account settings page. If you click on site preferences, and we'll just click it from here, and I'll close this one off. It'll bring up this page right here. Now, there's a couple things in here that are important to eBay as well. Now, let's slide down here to where it says buyer requirements. Now, if you set up your store like a lot of people suggest and you put in buyer requirements to limit some of the people being able to bid on your items, you might want to check this buyer requirements activity log button here. Now, I've known about this for a long time. We've adjusted our policy based on this right here. So this is going to tell you people that were blocked from buying your items because of your requirements that you set. Now, this one here is too many unpaid item strikes. It gives you the item. It gives you the percentage of feedback for the person. It doesn't give you the ID, which is fine. It tells you when it happened. Now, I've adjusted mine. In the past, I've had many up here. And when I've looked at people's stores, people call me occasionally, or I'll converse with people, and I'll end up looking at their store. And sometimes when people have set up policies, this is a thing that I have them check. And I've seen pages and pages of people that were refused because of the way they set up their policy. And that meant they were losing hundreds of dollars in many cases of sales that they were blocking by these buyer requirements. I list mine basically. We'll show you that in just a few minutes here. But from here, we're just going to click here again, and it's going to take you to the buyer requirements editing page right off the bat. And here is what it comes up with. Now, there's a buyer requirements exemption list. Let's say you set up all of these, but you want to allow a couple people who always pay you fine, even if they had other issues with other people, you can add them to the buyer requirements exemption list. Now, on here you have many options. This is the one that I have that person's name on for, this one here. Block bidders and buyers who have received 2 unpaid item strikes within 1 month. Now, that's not an overreach on anything at all in my book. Now, if you put it at, say, 1, somebody might have bought from the same person and just missed 1 sale. So I look at 2 as a fair assumption there. If you had more than 2, I'm not going to allow you to bid on my items. If you put this at 1 or something, that may not be a practicality. And you can go back and check how many are being blocked where I just showed you. Now, you can block primary locations as well and go in and specifically block places you don't ship to. Now, this option here blocks people who don't realize that I don't technically ship to them. This way, if somebody buys from you, and let's say you don't want to ship to this country and you set it up that way, it won't allow them to bid. If you don't hit that button, they could still bid because you didn't block them from bidding. I know that's a little technicality and some people are rubbed the wrong way on that, but that's just the way it is. I went in and I addressed every single setting prior to me opening this store. So this is just something, again, buyer requirements. We showed you how to get there. Just rewind this if you want to know, again, how to get into there. Now, another one, buyers with a negative feedback score. That means anybody below 0 cannot bid. I set it really low. So -1, any negative in my book is bad. So that means if they have a 0, that's fine. It doesn't do a thing to anybody that has a 0. But if you've already earned a negative reputation, I'm not going to mess with you at all. Now, I haven't seen this one on my list. So if I go and check again for anybody, and I do this quite often, if there's anybody that's been blocked, I've never seen one that was blocked for a negative feedback score. So it's just a safety feature here. Now, here's another option. Buyers who may bid on several of my items and not pay for them. This stops people from buying, say, 10, 20, 30, 40 items from you and just not paying for any of them without having an intent to pay for them. This is a safety feature that stops other people from, let's say, putting offers or buying things with the intent of just pulling you off so that, let's say, they could sell an item. You could limit how many people and how much they can bid on certain items. You can also address it so it only applies to block buyers who have a certain percentage of scores. So you can pick a certain number. If they only have 0 feedback or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can do all that kind of stuff there too. So if you click here, this means that all of these settings will apply to everything on here. And this is how it's set up in my page, so it automatically does all this anyway. There's one other option that I use too. Don't allow blocked buyers to contact me. So if I block somebody, and you can block anybody, it's literally on your hub page, your main page on the hub, the summary page. You can block anybody from even contacting you if you wish. Now, let's say that you have somebody that you just blocked because they didn't pay. You don't want to deal with them. They can still email you through that link for, I think, like 30 days, just through that one sale. Once it's out and passed, they can't email you or contact you again. So this is some things you want to look at here. So again, the buyer requirements can help you in many different ways. It can help you stop blocking people you don't really want to. It can help you block locations you don't want to ship to, as well as other aspects of it too. So now let's look at one more thing here that can help you. This will save you some time more than anything else. On your main page on Seller Hub or wherever the case may be where your listings will appear, you should see an option on the far left that says Automation Preferences. If you click on this, it's going to give you some more options that you can do. Now, here's one that I do, automated positive feedback for buyers. Automatically leave the following positive feedback. And again, you can store in specifics. I think you have 5 options. I've got them stored. We're not going to go into that detail. Just hit edit, stored comments. You can go from there. Buyer has paid for the item. So as soon as a buyer pays for an item, in my book, they are fine with me. If something happens after the fact, they did everything they were supposed to at that point. Anything else would be a secondary issue and not related to them paying or getting a feedback from me. So could they come back later and do something? Yes. It doesn't happen though. So literally the minute a buyer pays for an item, this automatically leaves feedback. So I never have to go back in and leave feedback. It used to take me time. It's just not worth the hassle. I let it do it all the time for this. Now, another option on here, send me an email when any of my automation rules fail. So if something doesn't go through properly, it's going to tell you, hey, you need to go back and leave feedback for it. Now, there's a button on the hub that you can use as well, too, but it's all right here if you want it. Now, here's another good one, Listings Automation Schedule. You can suspend your listings from automatically restarting every 30 days. Now, I know there's people out there that will cancel their listings after 28 days, end them, and then relist them. There's no sense in doing that, in all honesty. You can sit here and suspend them for certain lengths of time. You can do it any time frame you want, in all honesty. This way, they won't relist, and they'll just end, and you can edit them or do whatever you want at that point at any given time. So I would never recommend doing that. I would let them roll and over and over again because you're going to rank them on Google much easier if you let them run. Google takes 30 days minimum, bare minimum, but more likely 60 days plus to rank. A lot of sales are now coming off platform from searches on Chrome or something. So again, this is a good option. Instead of canceling your listings, don't let them relist on their own, and then you can come back and get every dime's worth of your listings out of it. Instead of canceling them and relisting them every 28 days, at the end of the time frame, you could lose some money out of that. So just keep that in mind. So again, these are some of the options you have on here. Hopefully this gives you some ideas and some thoughts on things you can do. But again, these options are all good ones you can use that will help you in many different ways, whether it saves you time, helps you increase sales by pointing out issues that you may have missed, or many other factors of navigating through eBay's policies and procedures. So hopefully that gave you some good ideas. Well, there you go. Hopefully that gave you some ideas and some thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.